prachoditam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Grathitam Puranamunina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitamritavarshinim Bhagavatim Ashtadashadhyayinim Ambatvam Anusandadhami Bagavad Gita Bhavadveshinim. In the last class, on the last Sunday, we discussed verses 1 and 2 of this chapter 6, which is called the Adhyatma Yoga, the Yoga of contemplation. We learned therein that he who does the prescribed duties without expecting any fruits thereof is a sannyasi and also a yogi, and not the one who is without any action. Number 2, we learnt because yogi also gives up all selfishness in all the works he does, whereas sannyasi gives up all selfish works themselves. So that's why the yogi and sannyasi are the same. That was the argument that was given. Today we proceed to verse number 3, which discusses the question how long a person should be discharging his duties. Arurukshor muner yogam karma karana muchyate yogarudhasya tasyeva shamak karana muchyate. Jnana yogam arurukshoha munehe yogam karma karana muchyate yogarudhasya tasyeva shamak karana muchyate. Arurukshu means a person who wants to ascend, rise. Climbing is called aroha. Arohitum, arodhum, ichcha, aruruksha. The desire to climb up, ascend in yoga. A person who is desiring to ascend in the steps of yoga, that means he wants to reach perfection in yoga. For him, tasya yogam karanam uchyate. The yoga, that is, muner yoga means karma yoga. Karma yoga karanam uchyate. The karma yoga becomes his means, the instrument. Karana is karana. Karana is the instrument. So a person who wants to ascend the yoga, that means who is in the path of yoga, he has to rise to the highest level in yoga. So for him the means of rising up, ascending the steps of yoga and reaching the highest pinnacle is the karma yoga. Yoga means the final realization, the liberation, or the Atma Sakshatkara, the direct realization of Atman. That is called yoga. Yogam marurukshoha munehe. The person, the muni, the sage, who is trying to reach this perfection in yoga, that is self-realization, tasya karma karanam uchyate. The karma, the prescribed duties done selflessly and offered as worship to the Lord becomes the means. So when all of us are in that stage, we all want to realize God, realize Atman, or manifest our spirituality, as Swami Vivekananda said. So how would we do it? Karma karana muchyate. Our means should be selfless work. Due to selfless work, we get rid of many selfish desires. And when the selfish desires go away, mind becomes calm. And the calmness of the mind can be applied, the calm mind can be applied to contemplation, meditation, and afterwards absorption or samadhi. So yoga can be attained by only a very pure mind. Pure mind means a mind which is free from all selfish desires. So how to get rid of the selfish desires? By doing selfless work. We have to do the work. So by doing the work, all our energies are spent in a very useful way. But at the same time, when we are not desiring for the fruit, no new samskara, no new impression is added to our treasure of karma. So we don't add any new karma by which we will be getting further desires, because we are doing this selfless action where we don't have entertain any selfish desires at all. We do our work as a worship to the Lord. So in this type of work, where we do work but we don't want the fruits thereof, this makes our mind free from desires. So when the desires are not there, mind becomes very calm. So a very calm, placid, pure, poised mind can be applied for meditation. Meditation on what? Meditation on God. Meditation on our own Atman. So when the mind is applied, the mind contemplates on the object of meditation and becomes one with it and attains yoga. This is how Jnana Yogam Arurukshoha Munehe. Jnana Yoga. This is called the Jnana Yoga. That means meditating on God and realizing that we are one with God, or we are with God. God is with us. So we ascend to a spiritual level where we no more feel that we are this body or the mind. We are something different from the body, mind and the external world. We are one with that infinite spirit, whom we call as Brahman or God. So we realize God. So this state, whoever wants to attain Arurukshoho, who he wants to ascend to this state, karma karanam uchyate tasya. To him, the means for ascending, reaching the state is karma yoga. Karma yoga has been explained from chapter number 3 up to chapter number 5. The whole thing was karma yoga. How to perform this karma yoga? So we have to follow that and do all our karmas and offer them as worship of God. As we offer flowers at the feet of the Lord, we can offer our work itself as flowers at the feet of the God, feet of our Ishta Devata, God. Yoga Rudasya, that means one has to go on doing one's duty until one realizes the highest Atman. Because the Karma Yoga is done for purification of the mind from the selfish desire. Selfish desire don't go. When we know this is selfish desire and we say, I shall not have any selfish desires. But selfish desires will not go like that. Because selfish desires have come how? How did they enter into our heart? How did the selfish desires come? Because we did many things to achieve selfish desires. So I wanted a big job which will fetch me 20,000 rupees a month. So I worked hard for it. So 20 years I worked hard. Then I have got a CEO's job or some big company's manager job, so which can fetch me some big amount. I worked hard for it. So when I have worked hard, the impressions are very deep, so deeply seated in my mind. I must work and earn. I must work and earn. In earning depends upon high salary. So this high salary will give me so many facilities in life. I can command respect, I can help others, I will be called as a good man, I will be called as a saint. All these things come to me. So these are all selfish desires for which I have worked hard. When we have worked hard to undo that one, now today I say I don't want any selfish desire. But selfish desires are there deeply rooted. They are imprinted on our mind. To erase that one, merely saying or thinking, I don't want selfish work, won't do. You must do work and then offer the fruits to the Lord. Make the work selfless. We have worked with selfish works. Now we have to undo that impressions of the selfish work with the impressions of selfless work. So once we worked for our own selfish end, I want name, I want fame, I want so many enjoyments, therefore I earned. Now I will do work as I did. Perhaps I will continue as a CEO, but no salary. I don't want to take any salary. I don't want any name or fame. I want this company is doing very good to the country. Let it prosper. Let this company grow more. I will give my service free. No remuneration, no monthly salary, no name, no fame. Don't publish my name. There are so many people we have come across. They want to give money, but they don't want their name to be mentioned. If you mention the name, they will become very much annoyed. Swami, we are doing it as a service. We don't want our name and fame. You see, this selfless work, they try to do it because selfish work has got so deeply embedded in us as impressions. So that is making us thinking more and more about selfishness. A person who has worked selfishly, he will become more selfish as years advance. The only way to become unselfish is you have to work, but without any selfish motive, with the motive of serving the Lord, serving the Lord's children. So these two ways of doing work and dedicating our work to the Lord, that is karanam uchyate, karma karanam uchyate. This karma done unselfishly becomes the means for ascending the yoga. That means reach the perfection in yoga, reach self-realization. And that means our duty, we must go on doing. Earlier we did it for our own name and fame and for our own creature comfort. Now it is not for my comfort, for the comfort of others, for the comfort of society, for the comfort of needy people, and for worship of the Lord. This is my worship. We do our work and offer it at the feet of the Lord. So until we reach self-realization, our mind goes on becoming less selfish. Then it becomes more and more concentrated. A day will come when in this concentrated mind, we will be able to contemplate on God. We will have to do the dhyana, we do the japa, we do the prayer with utmost sincerity, utmost depth, and God reveals Himself. Until God reveals Himself, one goes on doing the work. So how do you know that when God will reveal Himself to you? Sri Ramakrishna gives the example. It is something like a rich man going to one of his assistants' house. That assistant is a poor person. He cannot afford to entertain the king. What does the king do? Even before he goes, he will send his minister or his secretary, go and see everything is made there at our own cost. So the secretary will go and make everything, all preparation to receive the king at the poor man's house. So perhaps a throne will come, and perhaps a big carpet will come, and perhaps some 10 or 15 servants will come. They clean up the house, they prepare for the dinner who will come along with king. All the things are preparation start 10 days or 15 days earlier before the king visits. So when the red carpet has come and the servants are coming and the room are being cleaned and then vessels are coming from the palace and last the throne arrives, then you know king is going to come. This is how when we proceed in yoga also, our selfishness goes on reducing. Our anger will go, our jealousy will go, our meanness will go, our heart will open, our love will open, we will be compassionate to everyone. And more we feel joy within our own self. Placid mind will come, calmness will come. So all these things will come. These are all the treasures that precede before the Lord comes. One day suddenly we are sitting in the prayer hall and we are just closing our eyes. We don't ever open our eyes at all for hours together. We are deep in meditation and perhaps we are talking to God or God is talking to us. So this will happen. It will slowly come. Until we get that realization, our work will continue. Work of selfless duties. Doing selfless duties and offering at the feet of the Lord. This type of karma yoga will continue. So the person who wants to attain to this perfection in yoga, his beginning is he must start with karma yoga, start with selfless work. Everyone have our own duty. I don't have to go to somewhere and to find some duty for me. Everyone we have our own duty. You have your own family, you have your own responsibilities and duties to the society. You have to take duty to yourself and to the people who are suffering, who are in need. Children need your duty. So many duties are there for everybody, even at the very place he is there. We can take up those duties, but do them selflessly. Offer them at the feet of the Lord and daily pray to the Lord. Sir, God, I have offered this one at your lotus feet. Please don't either give me merit or demerit. This work will always produce either punya or papa. Punya is merit, demerit is papa. So I don't want punya or papam. I want only your grace. By your grace, I want to see you. If this prayer goes on and the work goes on, a time will come when God will reveal himself to us. And to see God is to become God ourselves. Brahmavid Brahmaiva Bhavati. He that sees God becomes God himself. That is how saints and seers. In the morning I went to Keshava Perumal Kovil, where one of the Alvars was there, Peyalvar was there. So they show, Swami, here Peyalvar was living and there is a shrine of Peyalvar. So they do the Aarti there. Just as they do Aarti to Keshava Perumal. And they say, Keshava Perumal, before he goes out on Utsava, he comes to Peyalvar and then stays before Peyalvar for some time and takes his blessings and then goes out. And Peyalvar also, when he goes out on procession, he will go to Keshava Perumal and bend. The Lord comes and salutes the devotee. Devotee salutes the Lord, very natural. That means, what does it mean? The God says that here is this Alvar who is immersed in me. He is seeing me always. He has himself become Narayana. He has himself become God. Go to him for whatever you want. Whatever I can do, he can also do. Of course, he does it by my power. That is between us. But for common people, a saintly man who is completely immersed in God, he is the visible God. That is how, wherever selflessness is there, wherever dedication is there, wherever there is love for everyone, so we go and salute those people. Good people, why do they salute? Because God's manifestation is there. More compassion comes into us, more selflessness comes into us, and more calmness of our mind comes into us. That means God is manifesting in our life, and a time will come when God himself will be seen by us. We can tell others also about God. I saw God today. He told me like this, only for 10 more days I am going to live. Tyagaraja told before 10 days, Lord appeared to me in my dream and told only 10 days you have got in this world and then I will take you to my abode. So Tyagaraja was very happy. He started celebrating all the 10 days. And the last 10 day he went on singing and then merged into Lord Rama himself. So God reveals, God speaks to you. Sri Ramakrishna says, just as we speak to our friends, one can speak to God. It is not simply imagination. One can speak to God. Swami Vivekananda contested him. Oh, that may be your imagination. No, those devatas speak to me, and whatever they speak, they prove true in the real world. So Sri Ramakrishna said, so devotees will come. Mother told me, Divine Mother, that so and so will come today, and at 3 o'clock they come. How do you say? If it is my imagination, we all imagine, all of us can imagine. Does anything happen? If all our imagination would happen, the world would be hell. Because it is not always we imagine good things. We imagine anything, all sorts of things we imagine. And each man would be imagining in the opposite way. I would imagine there should be no rain today. Somebody would imagine there should be plenty of rain today. What will happen then? Will it rain or will it not rain? It will be complete confusion. So it is not an imagination, Swamiji said. Sri Ramakrishna said to Swamiji, they are true. The gods speak to me and they all become true. It happens in the world. So realization of God is very true as this world is. One can get realization, and Bhagavad Gita talks about the path. What is the path? Path is Karma Yoga. We have to purify our heart. Our heart is the place where God is sitting there. And all our selfish desires, it has made our mind an impure mind. Impure mind is the curtain we have drawn over God. We remove this curtain and we see God that is already there. So this sloka says, a person who wants to ascend yoga, aruruksho munehe, muni is the sage, the aspirant who wants to realize God, yogam karma yogam karanam uchyate. Karma yoga becomes the means for attaining realization of one's own self or God himself. Yoga rudhasya tasyaiva shamak karanam uchyate. Suppose we think, so we should go on working. How long should we go on working? Will there be no end to our working at all? So for that, as a reply, the next half says, Tasyaiva yoga rudhasya shamaha karanam uchyate. Tasyaiva, this karma yogi, who is doing all his duties and offering them at the feet of the Lord. So day in and out, day out, and weeks after week, months after months, year after year, perhaps birth after birth, he is going on doing it. When does he stop? When is he allowed to be free from performing these duties? Tasyaiva yoga rudhasya shamaha karanam uchyate. Yoga rudhasya tasya. When he becomes yoga rudha, when he becomes a perfect yogi, that means when he has realized the goal of yoga, that means he has got the direct vision of God. Sri Ramakrishna worshipped, and he started his worship in 1856 as the pujari. Then he went on worshipping. So for first month, second month, third month, fourth month, he went on worshipping. And then suddenly one day he got the vision of Mother. After he got the vision of Mother, he went on contemplating on Mother. No, Mother, you have given me one vision and then just disappear. You must come back again. So again, just after 2 or 3 days, another vision. Then after 3 days, no, not after 3 days, every day. And when she comes every day, no, every hour you must be with me. And after every hour you must be always with me. Just like a mother is with the child, every moment. So whenever I call, you must be there. I cannot live without you. So this intensity comes in, as the perfection continues. It starts with a particular point when we have a vision of God. All of us have to start with this only. So first vision of God makes us reaching the yoga. Yoga rudha. Yoga means one has ascended to God realization. For him, slowly he will go on giving up the work. Sri Ramakrishna's work went on becoming reduced. Daily, he is praying more and more, absorbed in God, absorbed in meditation. With the result, the temple authorities, they said, all right, you give his work to others. Sweeping the temple, cleaning the temple, dressing Mother Kali, closing the door, opening the door, all these things he need not do. Let him meditate on Mother, let him sing songs to the Mother, let him bless the devotees that come. That much if he do, that is enough. All the other duties were given away to others. So his duties went on falling away from him. Yoga rudhasya tasyaiva. When this yogi who was doing karma yoga, he becomes yoga rudha. When he becomes perfect in meditation, that means when he gets a vision of his own Atman or vision of the Supreme Lord that is in his own heart, shamaha karanam uchyate. For him the means to become perfect as a yogi. Once seeing God will not make one yogi a great yogi. He is better than all the people who have not realized God even once. But a person who has seen God once, he cannot keep quiet. Just as in everywhere, when we get a joy, we want to get higher joy, a longer joy, a bigger joy. Always joy goads you higher and higher. So even in devotion also, when one realizes God, one wants to see God more and more, be always with Him, be always united in Him, become a person immersed in God. That's what Alvar means. Alvar means one who is immersed in God. That means always he sees inside and outside, only God is there for them. So to attain that state, he cannot go on doing his duties. Duties drop off by themselves. Shamaha karanam uchyate. Shama means shanti, peacefulness, freedom from activities, freedom from all selfish activities, except singing the name of the God, taking his name, or meditating upon him, contemplating upon him, or talking about him. These are also work only. These are the works that he does. All other duties, smaller duties, which involve some selfishness, so all will drop off by themselves. So all the duties leave him by themselves as he proceeds higher and higher in perfection of his yoga. So yoga rudasya tasyaiva, after getting the first glimpse of God, then for that very man who was doing duty from morning till evening, his duties go on getting reduced and reduced, because his mind gets deeper and deeper in becoming one with God, being nearer God, and dwelling around God only in deep contemplation and meditation. So he becomes a highly contemplative person. So this contemplation does not enable him to do any other duty than meditation and contemplation. And all the things will become favorable to him. If any temple, there may be one archaka who would sit and then meditate on God and would talk about God. When he would talk about God, he would say, I saw God like that. He told me like this. He came in the dream. He gave me a direct vision. And he told so and so, so and so, and it happened also. Suppose there is an archaka like that. You wouldn't like to ask him to go and clean the temple or offering some food offering to the Lord. Put some other junior pujari for that one. This person you allow him. Let him only be meditating. Let him only singing praises to the Lord. Let him talk to the devotees. Tell the people about how we saw God, how we manifested to others also. Today people were explaining in the temple, oh Swami, this mother's sannidhi is very, very sacred. So and so came here, they had so many difficulties. So after they came, so they got all peace. This is what should happen to us. When we go to God, when we go to temple, we must get peace of mind. We must overcome our difficulties. We must get that enthusiasm and the willpower through our visit, so that we face our difficulties and overcome them. So all this, when it happens, so for that one we require people who are deeply immersed in God. So that is what happens. A person, when he gets the first glimpse of God, yoga rudasya, when he gets the ascends to the yoga first, tasya shamaha karanamuchyate. For what purpose? Jnana paripakaya. The Acharya writes here. Why does he want to give up the duties which he was doing? Because he wants to become more perfect in his realization. In his realization, he has seen God once. Why, if God is true, I should be able to see him anytime I want. So every time I should be able to see him, not once, 12 times in a day, every 1 hour of the waking, then afterwards every 1 hour of the sleeping also. Because for a yogi there is no sleep at all. So he is awake in the night and day, just as God is awake in the night and day. Night and day itself is a fiction. What we call as night is day for this America and others, the Western countries. What we call as night for them, it is day. Which is day and which is night? Half of it is day and half of it is night simultaneously. If you just fly very fast, so you may be here in the night, but you are within 2 hours you are already in the daytime there. How it is in 2 hours? It should have taken at least 6 hours to go through this night. Suddenly you are in the daylight there. You are going against the time. So the night and day itself is a fictitious thing. Half is day, half is night. Any one day if you take in 24 hours, 12 hours darkness and 12 hours light there. And there darkness, it is light. Always there is light and darkness here there. Which is night, which is day for the whole world. There is no night, there is no day. It is a fictitious arrangement. So the person who wants to contemplate on God, he wants to become perfect. This is called jnana paripaka. becoming expert in meditation. So, to become expert in meditation and seeing God continuously, he gives up his usual duties. A duty of an archaka, he may not be doing the duty of an archaka, but he is doing his duty at a higher level. Meditation on God, getting the visions of God and transferring this knowledge to the common people. When we all go, then somebody will say, Swami, here is a sadhaka or here is an archaka who sees God, who speaks about God. He has seen God on such and such a day. He has told us, and whoever has heard is inspired. It is to such people we go. We want such people. They are doing also the same archaka's work, but at a higher level. It need not be always everybody must be taking a broomstick and then go on cleaning the room. That is not the only work. There are other things also to do. You sit at the table and write some book. That also is the work we are doing. No, you are not sweeping the room, therefore you are not doing the work. Nobody says. That is one type of work. This is another type of work. Somebody may be lecturing. That is a higher type of work. So if he does not take the broomsticks, so it doesn't matter. Let him not take broomsticks, handlers are so many are there. So give that professor his own work. Let him go and teach his subject. Each in his own way he has to do. A perfect man should give up his usual duties and will be merged in God. Not should, he does. Whenever a person becomes realized person, when his absorption goes, all his mind goes into contemplation of his self, contemplation on God. Therefore, he will not be able to indulge himself in so much of physical work as the other people do. I gave you the example of the other day, Ram Prasad. Ram Prasad was a great saint before Sri Ramakrishna. He has sang so many songs, which we sing also here. So this Ram Prasad, he was such a realized person, Mother Kali used to come and help him in fencing his garden. You see, he was fencing his garden. So there was nobody to help. So Mother Kali came like a small daughter. So she went on carrying all the bamboos, carrying thread and carrying one knife. So you use this one and tie this one. And later on he found that Mother Kali disappeared. He came to know afterwards, Mother has herself come. So this is Ram Prasad's experience. He was so much devoted afterwards. He was a cashier in some Zamindar's office. He would take the cashier's book. Then he would never feel like writing any accounts at all. So then he went on writing all poems in the cashier's book. So when the cashier's book went to the Zamindar to see the account, then he found page after page, Ram Prasad's poetry is there, songs are there about Mother. When he read that, he found only a man of realization can write like this. He came and saluted Ram Prasad. It is my good fortune that you came here as a cashier, but you don't have to do the duty of a cashier. You sit in the house. I will send the salary to your own house. You pray to the Mother, that is more than enough. See, his duties fell off by themselves. It happens. When we go sincerely, when we have vision of God, when we grow in spirituality, duties by themselves, they drop off. They will not distract you. So here it is said, the means for a person who has got the first glimpse of God is to retire into more and more into contemplation and meditation. And therefore, he retires from his daily duties. His duties drop off by themselves and he contemplates, he dedicates himself to more and more of concentration and meditation and absorption. Yoga rudhasya tasyeva, he who has attained to the highest pinnacle of yoga, for him shamaha, shama means peacefulness. Peacefulness means the freedom from the performance of duties. Karanamuchyate becomes the means. Earlier, doing the karma yoga was the means to purify the mind, and the second time to give up the duties, not doing the karma yoga, but retiring from karma yoga and dedicating yourself to jnana yoga. Meditating continuously on God becomes the means. So once the karma we have to do with selflessness and to purify our mind, making the mind ready for contemplation. When through contemplation, when we realize the deeper truths of Atman or Paramatman, then our mind goes so deep, we cannot indulge in any external activity. External activity, we retire from them. It's called karmo parama. It's called shanti here. So we are more and more in peace. That means free from all our duties and absorbing ourselves in God Himself. That is the means to become more perfect in the first realizations. Swami Brahmananji and other direct disciples, how much they meditated for hours and hours. So some of the ordinary devotees like us, they went and told them, you have already realized God. Sri Ramakrishna himself has given you the vision of your Ishta Devata. You have seen Kali, you have seen Krishna. Why do you want to do so much of tapasya year after year? They said, that's all right. He has given us the first glimpses. We have to get established in that. That means continuously we want to see God, just like Sri Ramakrishna did. Swami Vivekananda, in one of his letters, he wrote, you see, now I don't feel like working at all. And then he writes, not that I don't want to retire from work, but I want to work like my master. Just by a touch, just by a word, just by a look, I want to do all my things. Now no more doing, just I think. We do for what? To achieve something. He says, just by a wish I'll achieve it. I'll just say, let so and so be a very rich man. Automatically he will become rich. I don't have to work for it. Similarly, I want, say, so and so, let him become a yogi. I don't want to go and instruct him for 6 years. Let him become a yogi, mother, please bless him. Next time what, he will become a yogi. So Swamiji writes, now not that I want to retire from work, but I want to do like my father, like my master. By a touch, by a wish, I want to do all good things. He has risen to that level. So how did he reach that level? Just by a wish, he can bless anybody and he becomes that. So that is the perfection in yoga. To attain that perfection, you don't have to do any physical work or the duties of society. Duties to society, duties to family, duties to your children or thing, it will all drop off by themselves. Then the duty is contemplating on God, meditating on God, realizing the joy, as Swami Yatishwarananji would write, go deep into the infinite reservoir of joy that is inside you. Fill yourself completely with it. Come out and distribute it to others also. This is the duty. Go deep into yourself. Fill yourself with that infinite joy of God. Come out and share it with others. This is what the saintly people do. When the saintly people come, so when I was speaking in a music conference, so I just spoke about this, what we call as honoring the great musicians. To honor them is our duty, because it is these people who have carried the message of the Upanishads, that God is there in everyone. Everyone can realize God. Everyone can get eternal joy. The worldly joys are very ephemeral, transitory, whereas the joy of God is permanent. So everyone can realize this permanent joy, this message of the Upanishads. It has been carried by these musicians from house to house. Purandara Dasa, or Tyagaraja, or Dikshitar, or Shyama Shatri, or a Tansen, or a Haridas, or a Tulsidas, or a Mirabai. That's what they have done. Through their songs, through their realization. They have gone into the society. To common man also has got this message. Is it not a great duty they are doing? They have not done duty to their father. Mira she did not serve her father-in-law or mother-in-law or her husband. She had no family at all. She just gave up everything and came away. Can we say Mirabai has not done her duty? She has done the highest duty that one can do. She has realized God, and the joy of God she has distributed to everyone. This is the highest duty we can do. Other duties are, what do we mean by duty? Helping others to be happy. Here they are making everybody happy, not for one life, for all lives to come. When once we get the joy of bhakti, joy of devotion and joy of being selfless. We don't want any other duty. We want that joy only. We would not go and work for a small salary. Mudha varaka vayam. The God is there to give His duty to us. You do my duty, I will give you eternal joy. Leaving God aside, we go and serve this man and that man. What foolish people we are. In the Mukundamala, Raja Kulashekara was saying, Mudha varaka vayam. We are foolish people. We go and serve these ordinary people who give us 100 rupees or 1000 or 10,000 rupees a month, and we think that we are doing a great thing. Whereas the Lord, Sevye swasya padasya datare sute narayane tishtati. The Lord is sitting, He says, come and serve me, I will give you my own position. He is the Lord of the whole universe. I will make you like myself. You will all become Narayanas, you come. You will all become Shivas like that, you come. Sevye swasya padasya datari. He who serves Him, the Lord gives him his own position. I am sitting here, you come and sit me. You are also another Narayana. This is what the Upanishad says. When we become real God-realized person, we ourselves become God. The Lord is there calling you, come, I will give you my own position. We don't go to Him. We are going to this man and that man and serving foolish fellows and earning a few rupees. Mudha varaka vayam. Mudha means ignorant fools. We are stupid. So we are stupid fools going to these people and working. This is, in a higher sense, they are doing their greatest duty. So to attain to that one, this is called Jnana Paripaka, the maturity of the spiritual knowledge. Once he is attaining to the highest spiritual knowledge, Yoga Rudaha. When a man becomes a Yoga Rudaha, means he has got the first glimpses of God. Tasyaiva, for such a person, Shamaha Karanamuchyate. Shamaha Jnana Paripakaya Karanamuchyate. Shamaha, to retire from the duties and absorb himself in God for the maturity of his knowledge. So he has got the knowledge for one vision. He must have continuous vision. He must feel himself with God always 24 hours. To attain to that state, he gives up these usual duties and he is absorbed in God. So the two facets of a aspirant is shown here. One is he is ascending and he reaches the top point, and in that top point he wants to become perfect. So in the first part of his life of sadhana, of spiritual practices, he goes on doing karma yoga and offering his karma at the feet of the Lord. And when he gets the glimpse of God, glimpse of his own Atman, then he concentrates more and more on contemplation, meditation, absorption, dharana, dhyana and samadhi. Dharana is fix the mind on God. So when once we have seen that God is there inside, mind gets fixed there. It doesn't want to move about here and there. And then it starts flowing towards God. Going on thinking, as we go on thinking about the world, he goes on thinking about God. And then he gets merged in God himself. That is samadhi. The dharana will lead to dhyana, dhyana will lead to samadhi. That is concentration, contemplation and absorption. The mind becomes completely absorbed in God. So he is at the higher level. So first part, we make our mind pure. Pure mind is concentrated on God. Then concentration leads to constant meditation and absorption, samadhi, at becoming one with God and being one with them, even with the open eyes. So he is always merged with God. So this higher state is attained. At that time, the external duties go away. External duties need not be expected of from the highly realized souls. That is why we many times misunderstand the highest realized person. Highest realized person. So we consider him as less than ordinary, because you see how we are very dutiful. We get up early in the morning. So at 3:30 we get up and we take bath. This Paramahamsa, he does not take bath at all in the early morning. Sri Ramakrishna never took early morning bath at all. If you read the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, it is mentioned it is 9:30, so Sri Ramakrishna is taking bath at that time. So what would our people, our archikas would do? What sort of an archika is he? See, we take bath at 3:30 and he is taking bath at 9:30. He is very inferior. We misunderstand because they are beyond duty. They have gone beyond. They are living in a world where you can never reach. So they are contemplating on God. They are merged in God. Just at 9:30, his mind comes down. Then he feels, oh, let me take a bath. Then he calls somebody, brings some water. Then he takes bath. So taking bath is no necessity because he does not consider it as a body at all. So we bathe our body and we think we have taken bath. We have not even got out of this simple idea that we are not the body. Here is a man who thinks that I and Kali are one. I and my mother are one. Where is he and where we are? But then we misunderstand them because they are beyond duties. But we are all duty bound. If anybody is a little different, then we consider he is inferior. So we want to always compare in a very physical way. So suppose one spiritual person, he just meditates for 1.5 hours and he finds another person has got up from his meditation after 1 hour. He says, what is this? He meditated only for 1 hour. How much do you meditate? I meditated 1.5 hours. You see, he is so proud about 1.5 hours. See, this is how we compare with the simple equations and foot rules. They do not apply to them. They are beyond that. So they go beyond all ken of duty. There is no border of duty for them. They have gone beyond that one. They may meditate in the morning, they may meditate in the night. They may meditate beyond. They are meditating always. There is no fixed hours for meditation at all. So we cannot compare our meditation with their meditation and our duties. So we may be doing our duty to our father, mother. They have forgotten their whole world. Who is your father? Who is your mother? God alone is the father. God alone is my mother. As Tondara Pudiyar Alvar sang, Urillain Kani illai. I have no land. I have no uri. I don't have any country. Uravu mattoruvar illai. There is nobody, no relative to me. Parillain. So in the whole world, Padamolum Patrinen, I came to your lotus feet. I gave up the whole world. Nothing is there for me. Such is the state of these people who are merged in God. They feel we have no house, we have no kani, we have no relative. Your feet alone are the only one thing in the whole world. For such people, what duty can be there? So, Shamakkarana muchyate. Shama is retirement from all duty, peace. Shama is Shanti, Karmo Parama. Retirement from all duty, withdrawal from all duty is their means to become perfect in their knowledge. So they have no duty, they are there ready to talk about God. If we just poke them, only the words of God will come from them. So that is why people wait for hours together at the doors of these great people. Because when they come down from their contemplative state, when they will talk about God, that is the blessed hour. So people used to be waiting in Sri Ramakrishna's room. He is meditating. He is sitting on the cot. When you read the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, you get the very picture of how Sri Ramakrishna lived hour to hour. For not 1 year, for 6 years, the diary is there. So he is sitting on the cot. He is meditating. People are coming and assembling 1, 2, 3, 4, some 15 people are there waiting to hear something from his lips. But Sri Ramakrishna is absorbed. Then after some time he opens his eyes and sees 15 people are sitting before them. Oh, we have come here. Then afterwards he starts talking. When he talks, then it is simply as if you get merged in an ocean of ambrosia, ocean of amrita, ocean of nectar. He goes on talking for an hour or hour and a half, 2. People are stunned. This person, he has not read a single book. He has not gone to a single place except in this Dakshineshwar temple and his room. He has never gone anywhere. But any type of examples he gives from every strata of society, from the menials right up to the king, what they do, how they should how they should be. Everything just flows out from his mouth. People are wondering, how did you get all this knowledge? He says, no, mother supplies me all this. I just start speaking and mother sits behind me, just like a person measures out the grains for the people who come to purchase. He goes on measuring the grains and the heap comes down. There is one man behind. He will open another bag and pour it there. So the heap is always there. He goes on measuring. It never comes to an end because there is another man going on filling it up. Similarly, when I start speaking, mother pushes the knowledge from me, from behind. I go on talking. He himself is not aware of what he says. This is the state, highest state, where he merged in God. When he opens his mouth, the message of God comes. God himself, mother herself speaks through them. So that state is attained after first reaching the yoga rudha, then withdrawing from all the duties, merging always in God. In that case, he has no duty. First we do the duty to purify our mind, then after we give up the duty to remain merged in God and bringing the message of God to the world. So next he says, Kidrishosau yoga rudaha. The next sloka says, oh, you have spoken about a person who is sitting there merged in God. Please tell us something more. So with that question, the next sloka says, Yadahi nendriyartheshu na karmasu anushajyate sarva sankalpa sannyasi yoga rudhas tadochyate. Yada, at that time, when na indriyartheshu na karmasu anushajyate sarva sankalpa sannyasi yoga rudhas tadochyate. So the person who is meditating like that, how is he? He says, when do we call a person who that he is merged in God? How can we judge a person whether he is merged in God? So here he says, habitually at that time, yada, at that time, that means at that time when is habitually na indriyartheshu, neither in the objects of enjoyment, na karmasu, nor the activities that lead us for enjoyment, he is attached to. He is not attached to any duties that will lead him to the physical enjoyments or selfish enjoyments, nor is he interested in the enjoyment themselves. He does not think about any enjoyment at all, number one, because he does not think about any enjoyment. So his mind does not bother how to achieve that one. Only when we want enjoyment, we want to take the means, that is the different types of activities which will lead us to enjoy that. He just cuts off all the desire for enjoyment itself. Sarva sankalpa sannyasi. Sankalpa is desire. Sarva sankalpa sannyasi, who has given up all desires for any enjoyment, the gross or the subtle. Our desires are of the only two types. The gross type of the five senses, the good sights and good hearing, good sounds and good smell, good taste, good touch. Five senses want five good things. And the next one is some enjoyment for the mind, hearing some good music or reading some good poetry or some scientific achievement or some other achievement of the mental type, mathematical genius. All these things are higher enjoyments are there. And subtler than this is the desire for name and fame. I want to be called as a great man. I want to occupy the highest post. What is there in occupying the highest? To be called as the person topmost man in the world. That itself is something great. There is nothing to eat. There is nothing to drink. But to be called as the head of that itself is a great thing. It is subtle enjoyment. So desires gross and desires subtle. This is called the sankalpa, the desire. So he has given sarva sankalpa sannyasi, thula sukshma sankalpan tyajate. So he gives up all the gross and subtle desires. So when the desires themselves are not there, neither his mind thinks about achieving them. For achieving them, the different activities, he will not think about it. na karmasu yadahi na indriyartheshu na karmasu anushajyate. He does not get attached either to the joys of the senses and the mind or the activities that lead us to that joy, because he has given the very desire, all the desires itself for any enjoyment. He does not want to enjoy anything of this world or anything of the world of devatas, world of gods and goddesses, the minor gods and goddesses. He does not want any enjoyment either of this world or the other world. There are different joys are there, not only here, the other worlds are also there. Is Indra Loka, Chandra Loka, they say. So there are also subtle enjoyments are there. So those subtle enjoyments may attract. It may not attract us, no, because we are not aware at all that there are other lands. Suppose we become yogis, we have access to the higher, subtler world. Greater joys are there. You may get attached to that one. He is not attached either to the gross enjoyments or the subtle enjoyments. He has given up enjoyments at the very root itself. He has no desire at all, except the Lord's feet, except God. God alone is my enjoyment. Nothing else is there. Swami Vivekananda was offered all the 8 powers of yoga. 8 powers of yoga means he will get any enjoyment in this world or in the other world. Sri Ramakrishna once took him to Panchavati and told him, look, I have got all these 8 powers of yoga. I have no use for them at all, because I have given up all enjoyments. I don't want to enjoy anything. What will I do with these powers? So, if you want, I can give this power to you. Sri Ramakrishna, what will I do with that one? That is why you can do anything, whatever you want in this world or in the next world. He said, no, I don't want any of that powers. Let me realize God first. Then afterwards, I know what is to be done and what is not to be done, what is to be achieved or what is not to be achieved. God will guide me. At that time, if I require, I will ask from you this power. Keep it for yourself. See, what tremendous, this is called Viveka. Viveka is discrimination. If anybody else had, any of us had been offered that, not 8 powers, even 1 power, we would have jumped at it, because we do not realize the responsibility that comes by acquiring a power. A power may come, how to control it? It is just like a person who just caught hold of a demon. He said, you do all my duties. Yes, it said, but if you don't give me duty, I will break your neck. So this fellow gave any work, whatever work, it is a demon. He will immediately achieve that one and come back. Come on, give me another duty. So at the end of the day, he has given all the work. All the work has been achieved. He has no work to give. But the demon says, if you don't give work, I will break your neck. He ran to his guru. What sort of a demon you have given me? Take him back. He said, but you asked for one. No, but I am unable to keep him under control. But no, I am under his control. He is threatening me. So the guru released him somehow. We do not understand. When we ask for the powers, how many are able to wield the powers properly, under control, and which is beneficial to them as well as to others? Very few. People always misuse, because people have selfish desires, and for that selfish desire they use. As soon as a person becomes selfish, he becomes more selfish when he gets more power. Just as we are all bad, so we cannot do much bad things. What bad can you do? You can go and beat up a person. Nothing will happen. So he will weep for half an hour and go away. Suppose you become a very powerful officer, and then if you want to do bad, you can dismiss a man from the service, the whole family will be on the street. What a great blunder you have done. What great misery you have brought upon how many souls. You got the more power and uncultured mind. So you are in for such great the sins. You have committed such a big sin. Perhaps you will suffer very much for that. So responsibilities are there with powers. So powers have to be kept under control and used properly. You require tremendous spiritual energy for that. That's why spiritual people alone can use the yogic powers. Sri Ramakrishna never allowed any of the Swamis to use the spiritual power. So there is a funny incident in the life of Swami Madhavanandji. Madhavanandji was there as the General Secretary of our order. a great scholar, as it is in English, in Sanskrit, in Bengali, in Hindi. And this great Swami, and he was Holy Mother's disciple. And Holy Mother used to love him very much. So about Madhavananda Swami, somebody asked, Ma, what do you think about Madhavananda? Madhavananda said, he is like a elephant's tusk covered with gold, she said. Elephant tusk itself is very great, very valuable thing. For that, with a gold cover is put. So he is like the elephant tusk covered with gold. So such was this Swami. So to him some devotees went. They went and complained to him, Sir, one of our Swamis, young Swami, he became angry with us, he has cursed us. So now what will happen to us? Then Swami Madhavanandaji said, don't worry, Sri Ramakrishna has taken away all our powers as far as this cursing or blessing is concerned. We cannot give also boons. All right, you will have 10,000 rupees, go on your way. When you go back home, you will get 10,000. That we cannot also bless. We cannot also curse. You get destroyed, nothing will happen. So you don't worry, Sri Ramakrishna has taken away both from this. All these yogic powers, he has taken away. We are here only as his servant. So we can only do good things to you. He will not allow us to do any bad. So be safe. So this is, to a great extent, is the truth about all great people. They don't use their yogic powers. Only the highest people, they know how to use it, so that it benefits the whole world without bringing misery on anyone. How do we know? We do not know at all. So, yadahi nendriyartheshu na karmasu anushajyate sarva sankalpa sannyasi yogarudhas tadochyate. At that time he is called a highly perfected yogi. When he has given up the desires for everything, earthly or those that are beyond earth, the heavenly joys, all the earthly and heavenly joys he has given up the very desire for them. Therefore, he does not indulge in either enjoyments or the activities that are leading to enjoyment. So he is always at peace, enjoying the presence of God, enjoying the presence of his own soul. He is called a perfect yogi, yoga rudha. So we will go further in our next class. Vasudeva sutam devam kamsa chanuramardanam devaki paramanandam krishnam vande jagadgurum.